Okay, we're now live. Hey everybody, it's May 14th, Thursday, 12:03. No, I did not go with President Trump to China. I just told him I was really too busy because I had to read films. Anyway, hope everyone's doing well. I always have to choose a topic for these talks on Thursday. Sometimes we pick things that relate to disease of the month. Sometimes we pick things that relate to an article I just wrote, or just read, or a topic I just wrote about, or I just read about. So I know next week's talk, uh, we spoke last night with Juan Ferez, who's Senior Vice President at Microsoft. He runs AI for Good, just an incredible person, showing us some of the new vibe computing, which VIBE, that term came in 2025, but it really is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. But I can't talk about that today. I can talk about that next Thursday. What I can't talk about is a topic I mentioned, graduation. Now, all of us have been to graduations, kindergarten, first grade, eighth grade, 12th grade, college, med school, fellowships, residencies. Everybody has a lot of graduations, and most of them, some of them you actually attend, many of them you don't attend, many of them you wish you didn't attend. There are very few that you wish you did attend that you didn't attend. But you know what I noticed in the past number of years, the caliber of graduation speeches, particularly at the college level. Forget med school, there was always some doctor or something. No one really cares about that. And forget high school, forget kindergarten, even though we know everything you learned was in kindergarten. But let's talk about college. Now, 2006, Steve Jobs gave his single address at Stanford. Probably most of you have listened to it. I've always recommended people listen to it. It's probably one of the great talks. Now, one thing interesting, graduation talks are not 5 minutes. They're not 15 minutes. They're not 25 minutes. And it's not the Gettysburg Address where it's short by Lincoln, or the guy before Lincoln spoke for 4 hours. Every graduation talk is about 18 minutes, which is an interesting number. But 18 minutes, so it's short, not too long, and you got to put everything in there. So there are a number of talks you can listen to. People have websites which talk about 10 best talks. There's all sorts of things. A lot of the talks that are really great were given by people who you would not expect. And sometimes you expect people to give great talks and they didn't. So I'm going to tell you about 3 talks you have to watch. The first is Steve Jobs. Steve had just been sick, had just had surgery. He spoke about himself and he spoke about the future. But what he did in that talk was he spoke about himself, his challenges, his aspirations, his difficulties, and his successes. It's extremely touching knowing how things came out, but even in that day, if you were there, if you listened, and you listen again, it's really just amazing. I think sometimes talks, like many things, you can watch 100 times and it gets better each time. I haven't been to the racetrack in years, but I used to pay attention, and I remember the Triple Crown when Secretariat, it was 26 years or 28 years, no one won the Triple Crown since Citation, and Secretary won it in record time. But it was the third race. It was the Belmont Stakes, which are, I think, 1.5 miles. No, it's 2 miles or whatever. It was only 5 horses in the race, but not only did Secretariat win by 35 lengths, but he broke the track record, the race record, by roughly 3 seconds. It was unbelievable. The screaming, the hollering, that was great then. But I was at the Hall of Fame, the Racing Hall of Fame in Saratoga, more than a decade later. And they were talking, there was a video on Secretariat, which I watched. When he ran that Belmont, everyone knew the results from 10 years before. People got on their feet. People were cheering as if it wasn't clear if he was going to win or not. People were rooting for Secretariat 10 years or 15 years after they knew the result. And the same thing with Steve's talk. You listen to it today, even if you listened to it a year ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, it's going to tell you a lot. Second talk, a number of years later, Larry Ellison, Oracle, gave a talk at USC. Again, it's very much copying Steve Jobs' style in some sense. And Larry Ellison's a very private person. I think it's the only talk he's given. But he spoke about himself, his successes and his failures. Larry Ellison's one of the 5 richest guys in the world, and he has been forever. But his talk about himself, the good, the bad, how he managed to get where he is. And then he spoke about Steve Jobs, who was his best friend, and just the two of them, how they interacted. And it became very, very important how their relationship was, and it wasn't all about money, as you'll hear in the talk. But again, 18 minutes of sheer brilliance. The third talk I think that's worth hearing was one, and then many others that are great, so don't get me wrong, but Jensen Huang spoke this past Sunday at Carnegie Mellon, gave the graduation speech, or just before he flew off to China, and spoke about the changes, about the future, the present, and how you need to think, and how he thought as he was building the company, the challenges, going nearly bankrupt, to today where it's the most successful company in the world, the most valuable company, worth $5.5 trillion. It's a worthwhile talk. Jensen is always worth listening to, but I thought it was a tremendous, tremendous speech that really will resonate with you. Now, there are a lot of other great talks. I mentioned, you can look up, go online, top 10 graduation talks. People will give different thoughts. Taylor Swift gave an excellent talk. The first year after COVID, when you can get back together, she gave a talk at NYU. And I think the talk was done at Yankee Stadium so people can spread out. It was an excellent talk by Taylor Swift. And yes, I am a big Taylor Swift fan, but it was a really, really good talk. Again, look up, go online, do a Google search, pick the people you might want to hear. You'll learn a lot. It'll make you think a lot. And it will make this time of year, which is graduation season, whether you're graduating or not, whether you've graduated and your kids have graduated, whatever and wherever you are, is worthwhile listening. And if you look online on the comments, Lily is keeping is faster than me. She put a link to Steve Jobs' Stanford talk. She put a link to Larry Ellison's talk, and she put a link to Jensen's talk. And each talk is 18 minutes. So if you go really efficiently clicking, in 1 hour, you can hear from 3 of the smartest people who have lived, surely, in this century. It's worthwhile, and I think you will be happy to do it. With that, I wish everybody a great day. See you soon.